a wildlife reserve. Before we head out onto the reserve, ask that everyone remains seated with hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the truck at all times. You're also going to want to hold on to all loose items as the roads out here can get pretty bumpy. So we're starting our journey here in the Literary Forest. Animals found here have natural camouflage that helps them blend into their environment. On the left-hand side are two different species of antelope, the greater kudu with the lighter tan coat, the bongo up ahead with the darker orange, and all the way out to the right-hand side up in between the bamboo or on the far left of that hill over there are the okapi. Now the okapi, due to the striping on its lower legs, is thought to be related to the zebra. However, they're actually one of the closest living relatives to the giraffe, as seen in their head shape. The bongo there with the darker orange coat, they get the nickname Ghost of the Forest for the rarity of their sightings in the wild. While the greater kudu, the one with the lighter tan coat, they're one of the taller antelope species here in the forest, about 55 inches at the shoulder. They're on the left-hand side. Just up against the rocks there at the center of the shoreline, here in this second image, there is a black rhino lying down, turned away from us. The black rhino weighs 3,000 pounds, can charge at 30 miles an hour. Now they are on the smaller side of the rhino family, which consists of 5 different species. Those are some saddle-billed stork, named for that prominent yellow saddle-shaped patch on their bill. While they don't vocalize, they will rattle their bills as a way to communicate. Leaving the Literary Forest behind us, though, we're going to make our way down to the Safi River up ahead. Many animals found in the Safi River rely on it not only for their homes, but as their source of food. Because of this, it's important to keep riverways and waterways clean and clear to help protect the animals as well as the environments that rely on these rivers. Now, in the first portion of the river, here on the right-hand side, those are some pink-backed pelicans. They get the name from the pinkish coloration they have during mating seasons, and they're colonial nesters, meaning they nest in groups of up to 500 individuals. Now, hippos, they spend most of their day in the water to avoid overheating in direct sunlight. At night, during rainstorms or in heavily shaded areas, they come up on the shore. is the upside down tree for the fact that they go leafless like that up to 9 months out of the year. And they do that mainly as a way to conserve their water during the drought seasons. Headed down into the Savannah. You're going to want to keep your eyes up and around the vehicle as animals can appear from just about anywhere out here. Many of them are going to be on the move out toward the sunnier areas throughout the reserve, as it is still on that slightly cooler side this morning. Now we are going to be slowly making our way out toward the hills of the Savannah there on the far right, including a number of different species like the Maasai giraffe. And we'll be getting nice and up close to them here in a moment. A bit closer to us there on the right-hand side are some Hartmann's mountain zebra. Now they are one of 3 distinct species of zebra found throughout the world. Just before we get a little bit closer to those Hartmann's mountain zebra, and I can point out the way we can tell them apart from the other 2 zebra species. Here on the left, right at the base of that smaller slanted green tree here with the vines and bushes crawling up the trunk, are some African pinky dogs. You might be able to see one of them lifting their head at the moment. They get the name from the ink blot-like colorations that cover their coats. They're also extremely social mammals, coming together in groups as large as 30. Now, the Hartmann's mountain zebra here on either side of the vehicle, we can tell them apart from the other 2 species, the Grant's and the Grevy's zebra, for a small bit of loose skin at the base of their neck, known as a dewlap. Dewlaps help them regulate their body temperature out here, and they are the only zebra species that has one. Next to the ones out on the left-hand side, toward the back of the hill there, are the sable antelope. They serve as the symbol of the Romney Reserve. And up ahead near the warden's vehicle is a Maasai giraffe. Maasai giraffe, they're born at 6 feet tall. They'll reach 18 to 20 feet when fully grown, and they have an 18-inch prehensile tongue that allows them to reach even farther up into the trees and strip the leaves off the branches. Now, one of my favorite facts about them is that they only sleep for about 30 minutes in a single day. This is done in 5-minute increments throughout the day. Usually done while both standing up and with their eyes open. So you can very rarely tell a Maasai giraffe is even sleeping at all. This one out on the left-hand side is a juvenile. Now it's a little over a year old, reaching that 15-foot height mark right this morning. Passing by a few more grazing species. 2 of them are a new set of antelope species we haven't yet seen. Now the first antelope species is actually going to be up here on the left-hand side, right next to the roadside. This is the common kiwi. They are the largest antelope species in the world. They'll reach 6 feet at the shoulder, just like this, and weigh up to 2,000 pounds. The same weight as a full-grown Maasai giraffe. Well, out on the right-hand side, up toward the very top of the hill there, is a much smaller antelope species known as the springbok. As their name suggests, they go springing around when frightened or excited, able to leap 6 feet into the air from a complete standstill, or 13 feet forward as they're running. making way out toward the red clay pits, and as we do, you're going to want to keep a sharp eye out on the right-hand side. African elephants have been known to make their way out here. Elephants in general, they're known as pachyderms, which translates from Greek to mean thick-skinned. The African elephant's skin can reach about an inch thick in some areas. Their skin, though, is very sensitive, leading them to cover themselves in layers of mud, dirt, and dust. This is a way to protect themselves from sunburns and bug bites. On the left-hand side, a little ways back onto the rocks, there you may be able to see some mandrills.
Yep.
Mandrills, they are the largest monkeys in the world. When they're traveling, they are very nomadic in nature. They travel with a full stomach's worth of food at all times. And that full stomach's worth of food is something they store on the inside pockets of the inside of their cheeks. Now, one of the African elephant's more prominent traits, those are their tusks. Both male and female African elephants have them. For other species of elephants, though, only males would have tusks. Just up ahead, we are passing through the red clay pits. You'll be able to see the walls of it on either side. Now, if you see any scratch or scrape marks up the sides of the walls, they're likely from elephants. Elephants will use their tusks and they'll scrape out portions of the red clay, and they'll eat it as a way to gain minerals and vitamins they wouldn't normally have in their daily diets. Dietary supplement. African elephants, like the ones we'll continue to see out to the left there, they also need to eat anywhere between 3 and 7% of their body weight in a day in order to maintain a healthy diet and weight. A little bit farther into the savannah ahead here. We are passing by some white rhino there on the left-hand side. Whereas the black run we caught a small glimpse of in the Little Ituri Forest weighs 3,000 pounds, in charge at 30 miles an hour. A white run can weigh up to 5,000 pounds and charge at 35 miles an hour. Now they do get the name white rhino from the Afrikaans word "wit," which means wide, not white, in relation to the shape of their lips, which are wide and flat. And up ahead on that second hill from the looks of it, we are passing by a number of cheetah. They are the fastest land animals in the world, reaching speeds of 60 miles an hour in just about 3 seconds. Structure up ahead of us, this is known as a copie. Copies are collections of rocks that jut out from the Savannah. Many animals, like the African lion, will use these structures as a way to survey the Savannah up and above a lot of the dense vegetation. Now there are 3 in total back there that we're going to be pulling around to see one more time as around the corner. They are social hunters, meaning they'll hunt in larger groups. They also have a number of unique vocalizations, like shouts and roars, that can be heard for 5 miles across an open savanna like this.
Get fed by that keeper. Over here. Yeah, they feed him out of the hands. Vehicle. Largest birds in the world. While they are flightless, they do still use their wings for a number of other reasons, including flapping them to cool themselves off, using them as a way to balance themselves while they're running. Now, ostrich are communal nesters, something we can see down here on the right-hand side, following that small dirt road a little ways into the field. Communal nesting means laying all their eggs in a single nest together under a dominant hen's protection. The eggs themselves, they weigh 3 pounds each. And a full-grown human can stand on top of a single ostrich egg and it wouldn't break. For the savannah behind us, we are going to be passing by one of the warden's posts up ahead, where we can see some night-cherry dwarf goats. Now, they are a smaller species of dairy goat found in West Africa, and this is as big as they'll get. They are all fully grown. Now, they are often brought into these smaller fields and pastures. It's a way to clear out a lot of the weedy undergrowth and many other grazing species won't or can't. Now, we have seen a number of different animals out on the reserve today. big changes on the natural world around us. Something as simple as recycling or even just learning about cancer. Like here on this park, being able to spread awareness for these animals later on, and a huge and beneficial impact on the future population. Now up ahead we are making way up toward the warden post. Take this moment, take a quick look around, make sure you have all your personal belongings with you. For any Wilderness Explorer Scouts on board who've been riding aboard this Simba line. As we pull up to the Warden's Post, thank you for having joined me out here on Kilimanjaro Safaris. As we continue your day, make sure to stay hydrated out there throughout the park.